Well, I'm happy to be here and to tell you a bit about circular economy and transformative perspective. And transformative means we focus on well-being, could be individual well-being, that's important. And you can also think of societal well-being, for the benefit of society. Yeah, a bit about myself. Well, Marie-José and Primi have already kindly introduced me by saying a few things about myself. I had to switch it on, of course. I see what happened. No, let's just move this way. It's okay, it's fine. No worries. I will just use the arrows, but maybe it's not. Okay. It's okay. I will use the arrows, not a problem. So. It's okay. It's fine. A bit about myself. So I'm Dutch. I have 3 daughters. I'm married, and they are teenagers. Like, well, you are not teenagers anymore, but they are. Anyway, they're slightly younger than you are. So I know. Yeah, I have to deal with them all the time. Well, I have already been introduced by Marie-José and Primi on my work. Oh, this goes a bit quick. Yeah, I have a background in psychometrics. That means I study behavior, human behavior, and in particular consumer behavior, and those employees that serve the customers, frontline employees. Yes, you can think of salespersons, you can think of service employees, think of bank employees, think of people who deliver insurances to you. And that's why we call it frontline marketing. Frontline marketing. You're on the front line as a person in the company, and the front line means bordering the market, customers. And so I have experience in sales management, teams. It could also be teams of employees servicing the customer, focusing on employee personality. It can be stressful, so focus on neuroticism, innovation. And one very important topic nowadays is circular economy. I will pay attention to that in this lecture. And maybe one more thing, I have a focus on multivariate statistics. Maybe I should first ask you, just a moment, okay. So I'm delivering PhD courses on multi-level analysis. It's a kind of an analytical technique you can use to analyze data on customers, on frontline employees. And there's yet another course I'm coordinating that advances in marketing strategy. So if one of you is a PhD or considering doing a PhD, you can maybe sign up for one of these courses. Yes, we need participants. Yeah, editorial activities has already been addressed by Primi. I'll use that. Okay, maybe I should ask you about today's key topic. What is circular economy? And this is Slido. And that means I ask you to give an answer. And you can simply do that by using your mobile phone, yes, and scan the QR code. And then you can give an answer. What, according to you, is circular economy? Yes. Just see what you answer. Yes? You can use the code, yeah. You can use the code. So use the code, scan the code, and if you scan it, you can give an answer. Yes. So a few more, maybe there's a few more working on it. I see 5 typing, I can see that on top of this, yes. So I will wait till you are done with giving your answer. There's 4 more. Nice. So it's interesting to see that most of you think of recycling. It is part of it, yes it is. Sustainability, yes. Reuse, that's another term, reuse. Reduce, hey, that's interesting, reduce. Apparently it's about reducing maybe energy, resource, something like that. Reuse, recycle, as much as possible, yes. The 5 R's, okay, there's even 5 R's. That's interesting, there's a lot of R's, that's right. Well, thank you for the answers. Green planet, by the way, that's another thing. Yeah. Let me see. So there's a lot to do about circular economy, and it's quite challenging to come up with a good definition, and we tried using the academic literature. Yes, we are scholars, we are academics, so you should use the academic literature. Here you see quite a long definition. The circular economy characterized as an economic system aimed to minimize the depletion of world's natural resources. So one of you said reduce. And that relates here to reduce, well, try to minimize, the use of natural resources through value retention. That means you try to extend product life. You try to extend the use of your products, value retention. Or value regeneration. And value regeneration is about, well, product life has ended, product is worn out or worn off, yes, and you can't use it anymore, but you can still use the product's materials. So you had to recycle these products, materials, right? Recycling. Circular economy is about a lot of R's: redistributing, remanufacturing, recycling, redesigning, reassembly, sharing, maintaining. So there's a lot of R's out there. I'll get back to that later. Interestingly, circular economy is not invented by scholars. It's invented by a foundation called Ellen MacArthur, and she came up with this so-called butterfly model. Whom of you knows this model? Well, then it might be good to give a short video. So I can tell you a bit about the model. You see a lot of loops, yes? They are about the R's. So this reusing, that's a small loop, that's an easy loop. And there are larger loops like recycling, which is more difficult. And in this butterfly model, they distinguish between blue and green. Blue, and that's based on the materials, the type of materials. Blue is about technical materials. You can think of, well, metals, plastics, while green is about biodegradable materials. You can think of organic material like wood, food, cow shit, hair. I will show you a nice movie. They much better explain it than I can do it, and they do it in a very quick and easy way. So let me show you this movie.
A circular economy keeps products, materials, and components in use at their highest value at all times, ultimately seeking to decouple economic growth and development. It does so by distinguishing between 2 types of cycle. In the technical cycles, products, components, and materials are kept in circulation in the economy for as long as possible. In the biological ones, the strategy is to restore nutrients into the biosphere while rebuilding natural capital. Technical cycles are usually for products made from non-biodegradable materials such as metals. The most effective technical cycles involve maintaining and reusing products. This way, the value of a product is preserved and its usage length is increased. For instance, repairing a car or arranging a carpool so that a car is shared between several people is less resource intensive than building additional cars. Even when a user no longer needs a product, it might still be reused by others by reselling it or redistributing it to different markets. Once a product can no longer be reused as is, most of its value can still be retained by refurbishing or remanufacturing it. For example, a car manufacturer can remanufacture the engine and other components of cars that are no longer usable. If it's impossible to reuse, refurbish, or remanufacture a product, the materials in that product can be recycled. When recycled, the value of the product itself is lost, but the value of the materials is preserved. Biodegradable materials such as food or wood-based products can be cycled in biological cycles. These materials are renewable by nature, but further value can be created by cascading them for additional applications in different value streams. In a biorefinery, conversion processes can produce high-value chemicals and fuels. Organic materials that can't be used further can be composted or anaerobically digested to extract valuable nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and micronutrients. Important examples of materials that can go through this cycle include household food waste or sewage sludge. By leveraging these recovery strategies, systemic leakages and negative externalities can be minimized. Ultimately, a circular economy is about getting the most value from the resources we have by keeping them at their highest utility and value.
Okay, so I hope this short introduction to this model, butterfly model, help you better understand what circular economy is about. Different types of loops based on different types of materials, different types of art. Now,
A circular economy.
I'm going to give you another example of a company practicing the principles of circular economy. This company is called Flok. It's a furniture company. It's based in Norway. Just have a look at it and see how it actually works in a concrete example, right? So I'm showing the movie now.
Hello, we are Flok. This is the story of the way we work together to look after our world. We're very proud to be Europe's leading creator of conscious workplace furniture and the heart of a family of beautifully designed brands. Each one brings something a little different to the table, but we're all united by one vision: inspire great work. It's not just about furniture designed to make work feel good. It's about the way we design, craft, and take care of each piece, with the bigger picture in mind. You see, at Flok, we've always looked at the world a little differently. In the early 90s, we created a concept, still valid today, designed to reduce our impact on climate change. It's called 5-3, and it's about 5 circular design principles that come together to create one sustainable life cycle. 1. Low weight. That means building better products with fewer resources. 2. Fewer components, which makes manufacture and assembly easier for us and smarter solutions for you. 3. Right choice of materials. We choose recycled and recyclable sources, avoiding hazardous materials, always. 4. Long lifespan. We build our furniture to last and last and last. And 5. Design for disassembly. Our products can be repaired, reused and recycled really easily, taking on new lives or transforming into something brand new and starting the cycle all over again. Together, these principles help us look after our 3 focus areas on the environment: climate, reducing our carbon footprint; resources, taking less from our planet; and health, keeping people safer and happier. In fact, thanks to 5-3, in 2020, we bought over 700 tons of recycled plastic waste with ambitions to increase this every year. We also get over 90% of our electricity from renewable sources, but our goal is to reach 100% over the next few years, and we're proud to say our chairs have one of the lowest carbon footprints in the entire industry. 5-3 from Flok, sustainable design since 1993.
Okay, this was about Flok, and here you see a nice recap of this movie. So there's 3 focal areas of circular economy. One is the climate, lowest carbon footprint, so lowest carbon dioxide, CO2 emission. That's one point. Reduced use of resources, reduced waste. That's an important second principle. And also the reduced use of toxic materials, type of materials. What you actually see here, when it comes to furniture, you can have lower weight materials. Yes, lower weight, that's an important thing. Fewer components, make the product less complex. Then it becomes easier to reuse, remanufacture, and recycle it. Right material, so try to avoid toxic materials, yes? That's an important thing. Longer lifetime, try to introduce refurbishing, reuse. Sometimes it depends on the materials, whether something can be reused or not. Closed life cycle, so preserving material in a closed loop. Here see the designers. So far, in the academic literature, the focus has been on producing sustainable products. Yes? Focus on product development and distribution. That's one of the 3 principles of circular economy. So the focus has been on designing out waste, what we saw at the Flock movie, right? While we don't know so much about the other 2 principles, like keep products in use, how to extend product life, value retention. And the third one, how to recycle products that have ended product life, but still have materials that can be recycled. So we had to pay more attention to that. And that's especially the situation after the product has been sold to the customers. So this is all about the market behavior, the customer behavior, principle 2 and principle 3. So this is about, this is a bit strange. What happens here? Okay. Here see some definitions. Value retention. That's about processes that are designed to keep products in use, to extend product life. They basically relate to the shorter loops in the butterfly figure. There were some short loops on the right side. They typically relate to value retention, extend product life. A more complex process is value regeneration. That's more about those situations where product is worn out and you still can use the materials of the products by recycling them and transforming them back to raw materials. Yes? Waste becomes again raw materials to again create new products. Value generation typically relates to longer loops and biodegradable materials. Not all the time, but what I say, wood, food, hair, and so on. I already said it's important when working with circular economy to have a transformative view. Yes? Think in terms of on behalf of well-being, individual well-being, societal well-being. That's very important. At the same time, there can be a friction with companies, as companies are economic entities. And the ultimate purpose of a company is to make profit. So there could be a performance paradox there. Keep that in mind. Yes? Here an example of another company that practice circular economy principles. This is about IKEA. I think you all know IKEA. And look here. It starts, for instance, with reuse. IKEA practices reuse by offering spare parts and fittings for furniture that has some issues. Yes. It also enables second-hand markets. You can think of eBay as a second-hand market. And in IKEA itself, the branches have a department within the shop where you have as-is products. They are so-called second-hand products. So they facilitate reuse of the products. And there's a buyback service, not to forget about that. So when you are fed up with your furniture and it's still usable, you can simply ask IKEA to buy it, this buyback. A more thorough process is refurbishing. That's about thoroughly renovating, repairing, restoring used products. It's still an option to repair them, yes? There are some issues, but you can repair them. Refurbishing, I think the most well-known example is the refurbished iPhones. Right? In this situation, refurbishing and reuse, we are talking about extending product life, value retention. More complex are these two processes, recycling and remanufacturing. Remanufacturing is more about those products that are worn out. You can't use them any longer, but they still contain useful parts. Yes? So you can dismantle these products and keep the useful parts, and then go into remanufacturing. That means you produce again new furniture, combining used, repaired, and new materials. Yes. Remanufacturing, combining used, new, and repaired materials. And then you can remanufacture a lot of products based on the parts. Right? A more complex process is recycling. Then the product is completely waste. Yes? But you can still recycle it. Recycling basically means you transform back waste materials, so-called used waste materials, into raw materials. Yes? Recycling. What is important here is the role of the customer and the role of the frontline employee. Yes? In order to make this happen, customers should participate. By actually participating in the second-hand market, bring back the product. Or, that's important. Yeah? Make these reuse and refurbishing flow work. Likewise, frontline employees, they need to educate customers. They need to pick up used materials. And they need to transport materials. So that comes with some additional costs as well. So you need to have trucks to transport used materials. And you also have to have storage facilities. You need to have storage facilities to actually store used products. So it doesn't go without saying. It makes things a bit more complex. Circular economy and services. Here again, this IKEA picture. Maybe this is a bit more simplified. The point is that this, still quite difficult to understand what circular economy is and what the different practices stand for. Right? Our idea was to structure the chaos a bit by delineating a model, a so-called service butterfly model. You can see it here. Delineating means that you distinguish different types of spheres in this situation, yes? So we distinguish the inner sphere. Inner sphere is all those entities, actors within the company. So you can think of actors like frontline employees, customer contact employees, managers, and organizational structures, right? Outer sphere is about all those actors outside the company. So you can think of the customers, but you can also think of suppliers, or legal entities like municipalities, and structures. Yes. And in addition to that, you can also think of joint spheres. Joint sphere. That's where the inner sphere and the outer sphere interact. Think of the interaction between an employee and a customer, yes? Joint. And then we distinguish between value retention versus value regeneration. So that's important. And the basic theoretical assumption is service-dominant logic. Service-dominant logic has as a basic assumption that in order to create value or to co-create value, you need to interact. Yes? So customers and employees need to interact, or customers and suppliers, or customers and employees and suppliers need to interact. And in order to do so, you create value. When delineating, we also distinguished we not only distinguished different spheres, but we also distinguished different levels. Here you see the encounter between the employee and the customer, and that's one level, the individual service encounter level. And here you see a nice model. There's a lot of text. And if you look here, we talk about the practice, so we focus on the inner sphere. First and foremost, companies need to engage in internal marketing. Internal marketing is about first convincing your sellers about the added value circular economy. You can argue your employee is the first customer, so to speak. Yes. So you need to educate him about mechanisms, circular economy, return flows, how products can be returned, and then there can be a challenge. Yes. I can imagine if you are working at a company, you had to meet targets, sales targets. So there's a narrow focus on selling your products. You want to obtain your targets. But at the same time, you need to add and work with circular economy principles by telling customers to reuse products. You see what I mean? So this model is a so-called balanced model. Initially, we decided to focus on practice, but to be more realistic, you also had to factor in challenges, right? So it's a balanced model. Inner sphere. On the other side, the outer sphere, you have the customer. The desired practice is that the customer decides to purchase reused and refurbished products, yes? As an alternative, yes? The point is that many customers, well, they'd like to own a good, yes? Once they buy a good, a physical good, they feel ownership, and they don't want to buy a product that has already been refurbished, or sometimes people only feel ownership if the product is fully functioning. And as soon as the product doesn't work as it should work, they don't mind anymore. The idea is to create extended ownership. So even if the product isn't working anymore, is worn out, they should feel ownership in terms of returning the product, helping, facilitating, refurbishing, right? Extended ownership. Joint sphere. Employees' role, frontline employees' role, is to convince customers or to teach customers to practice extended ownership. Yes. Not just using the product when it's working, but also returning it to the company. Feeling it's about feeling responsibility, extended ownership. So that goes beyond just using a product. And if it doesn't work anymore, well, I throw it away. Then we also distinguish between retention and regeneration. Well, basically the same holds for value regeneration. So again, employees need to learn how customers can recycle and return the products to the company. And here the challenge is value. Common perception is that, as soon as a product doesn't work anymore, it's worthless, yes? While circular economy argues the product is still valuable in terms of the materials because it's recyclable, right? Try to change this value among employees as well. Yeah? Even worthless products or products that do not fully functioning anymore can still be used. And then there is the customer on the other side. Desirable practices that customers go for those companies that practice circular economy principles. Yes. The challenge is, well, the balance between individual and collective values. So maybe your individual values, you just want to have a good product that's fully functioning, and that might be your most important value. While societal values, well, buy circular-based products because that's better for society. So how to get customers to strike a better balance, more in favor of societal values as well. And again, it's about, well, interacting employees and customers to develop a shared view on how to regenerate resources and try to strike a balance between short-term view and long-term view. Many times we are tempted to focus on short-term economic views, yes? You have to make profit. You will be, you're responsible for some sales results. And that may come at the expense of long-term goals, where the focus is more on you have to benefit society, make society more sustainable, keep an eye on viability. Okay, that's about level one. There's a second level. That's more at the organizational level. Organizations can be seen as a second level. This is an example of Nornorm. Nornorm, again, is a furniture company. And they design and deliver fully furnished office spaces. So it's a focus on functionality. So they deliver office spaces that already include furniture, and they are also offering a sort of maintenance contract. As soon as something breaks or got defect, they repair it or change it. So customers do not buy stuff, but they subscribe to the service of using the furniture. So it's a different type of ownership. So instead of physical ownership, actually buying the furniture, it's more like psychological ownership. You use it, you use the function of it. That's more sustainable because once you're done with using it, another can reuse it, yes? Can resubscribe to the product. You can also think of car sharing. Maybe that's a clear example. So instead of buying the car, you just use the car for a certain point amount of time, and then someone else can reuse it after you. That means we need less cars for a certain amount of customers. And that's more sustainable. Here again you see a model. So designing a service made for refurbish and resale. Now, we just saw these two examples. The challenge is who is responsible within the company. Yes, you can offer this service, but once there are some breakdowns, who will repair? Oh, who will take care of the warranty? Within an organization, you have different departments, so you should make clear who will do what. Because many times, employees are focusing on the easy way, making profit, while repairing things might be less interesting from an economic perspective. From a customer point of view, try to educate customers to make customers aware of the value of extended product life. And what I already said, many times customers' inclination is to think independently. I buy products, I do whatever I like with my product, I don't care. I want to be independent. So that's a challenge. That means that, you need to communicate that circular economy comes with a different type of ownership. Extended ownership, yeah, that means, well, be aware that even once the product is worn out or needs some repair, there's still ownership. Ownership in terms of feeling responsible. And it's not anymore physical ownership, it's more like psychological ownership. When you look at value regeneration, here again it's the challenge of ownership when it comes to the resources. Yes? Who is responsible for the resources? One popular term is corporate ownership. Basically that means everybody involved in this resource regeneration is responsible, right? It's the company, it's the supplier, it's the customer. But as soon as you say everybody is responsible, no one feels responsible. That's the trick, that's the problem, yes? So try to make clear who is first responsible, or who is responsible for what. And yeah, here again you need to teach customers about the value of products that are worn out. Yes, they need to be aware that it still has value to bring back the product. Value with focus on feeling responsible. So try to change, perceptions. That might be difficult, because that might be really difficult to change mindset. The third level is the company context. One essential aspect of circular economy is that it's not individual companies. It's not individual employees. It's also about the context in which a company operates. Oh, this is an example from Denmark. That's a park with companies, group of companies at Kalundborg in Denmark. You see different companies like Ørsted that they provide energy. Ørsted, there's Novo Nordics. They produce these medicines. But you can also think of legal entities like Kalundborg Municipality. Or you can think of those companies that provide energy saving energy sources like Kalundborg heat pump. This is an example of so-called ecosystem where different actors collaborate for the benefit of society. Third level. So desired practices provide a system, a market for disassembled products and material. And the challenge is that these different individual companies within the system have a business model that is in line with other companies' business models. Many times companies have a business model where the focus is on physical ownership. They make profit by selling products to customers, right? That's the physical ownership model. And that may not always align with business models that are circular economy based, because business models that are circular economy based focus more on extended ownership, psychological ownership. So they focus more on the service of delivering a service, like the service of driving a car or the service of using office furniture. So alignment of this business model is a huge challenge. Build communities to focus on responsibility and inputs from enrolled actors. That should be the practice. So nowadays you can think of peer-to-peer platforms where you can exchange second-hand clothing, for instance. Yes? And that happens already. And the challenge is, do you trust one another? Many times there's a lack of trust due to lack of information. Clothing, second-hand clothing or materials are offered, but you don't know the entire picture. Yes? That may lead to a lack of trust, and that may inhibit you to buy the product, right? Then on the other side, provide a service ecosystem for processing material residual streams. So the service ecosystem is the best way to Well, to make these residual streams of waste materials happen. The challenge is, well, collaboration among companies. If companies have different business models, and if there's a company that has still this old-fashioned physical ownership model, he may go a different way and may obstruct. Yes? That's a challenge. Providing input on residual streams, that's very important. What is expected? And the challenge here is that customers sometimes don't see the entire picture. Maybe Tesla is a very good example. Tesla presents himself to the world as if it's only about ownership of the product, as if it is only about economic use. Yes, that's an important thing, but that's not the entire picture. It's also about how Teslas are produced and manufactured, but they don't talk about that. Unlike, in contrast, circular economy does. So it's not only about economic use of products, or products that lend themselves for perfect economic use, which is the case with the Tesla, but it's also about how are they produced. Is it a matter of using non-toxic materials, or materials that can be easily decomposed? And that means there should be an architecture, a production system that takes that into account. So this is quite theoretical, I know, but this was meant to show you that there are different types of practices and different types of actors. We shouldn't forget about the challenges. One is, if as soon as you try to implement circular economy, things get more complex. Be aware of that. And that means you will disrupt consumers' convenience. Convenience means, well, you buy the product in a quick and easy way, and that's it. That's easy, that's convenient. While circular economy means you had to think of returning the product. So that takes mental energy. It may take time. Every innovation goes with disrupting existing routine. Keep that in mind. Think of new ways to provide energy, like the heat pumps. That doesn't go without any issues. Yes? There always are teething problems. It will disrupt routines. Local regulations. What do I mean by that? Many governments have their own definition of what waste is. So that means there may be some misalignment on what waste is, or the way waste is sorted. The way waste is sorted in Spain is different from how it is sorted in Denmark, or how it is sorted in the Netherlands. And such misalignment is a problem, is a challenge. Or lack of infrastructure to waste treatment. Think of IKEA. They said, well, we will buy back your stuff, but they didn't factor in so much that furniture is about large entities. Yes? And if you buy back huge cupboards, beds, all kinds of other furniture, you need to have storage facilities. And you need to have trucks to transport back. And that comes also with cost. Lack of recycling technology. Furniture is an example of an easy technology, if you can speak of technology. Easy materials, easy to decompose. Unlike maybe cars, which are way more complex. And maybe here you need some more complex technologies to make recycling happen. Poor business models. Some people are a bit overly optimistic when applying circular economy principles. Yes, they applied them, and then they found out, hey, we are not economically viable anymore. And that means you need to think through this realistically. What is realistic? Because at the end of the day, you need to make money. And then there are some other challenges. Greenwashing. You may have heard of it. So that means you misuse marketing. So marketing is already there, but sometimes in a kind of bad way. So you misuse marketing. And it's about putting forward ecological arguments in order to forge an ecologically responsible image. So you misuse marketing to present yourself as ecologically responsible, as if you are making an ecological impact on the world, which is not the case. So you misuse marketing. Maybe I should ask you of companies that were caught in terms of greenwashing. Maybe you know one example. Yes. Take your time. Just think. Just take your time. So we do have time. Think of a company that presents himself as ecologically responsible, but at the same time, okay.
They say that they are answering, but we can't see the. Because here it says that is connecting, so maybe it's a problem with the internet connection. I don't know. So you can see that? So you can maybe give us the answer.
Okay. I got some answers. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I will give you some examples. IKEA, yes, that's a good point. I was talking about IKEA. They have two pictures. On one end, they are doing something good, but at the same time, it's not always good. I'll get back to that. IKEA, yes. H&M, right? Yeah. Nestle, yeah. H&M, McDonald's, Apple, Google, H&M, especially H&M, yeah, that's interesting. Volkswagen, yeah, they cheated on this emission system, yes. They presented this as environmental friendly, but it was not. Okay, Iberdrola, yeah, I don't know that, I think it's Spanish, yes. Okay, Iberdrola. Okay, it's an electric company, yeah. Energy, yeah. McDonald's, yeah. Okay, interesting. Let me dive into this Repsol, yes. Ryanair, yeah, very good example. I get back to that as well, yeah. Yes. Okay, let me see. Let me dive into that a bit, yeah. Okay, Ryanair. I was talking about Ryanair because they present themselves here in this flyer as lowest fare, lowest emissions. It's absolutely wrong what they are preaching here. The practice is opposed to that. They were forced to stop using this advert. They were not allowed to use this flyer anymore. H&M, they present themselves as conscious, organic cotton, but at the same time they are one of the worst offenders when using all kinds of non-green manufacturing practice when it comes to producing clothing. So they were also punished or at least caught. Here you see a whole list of companies. This is a list of the last few years. I think IKEA, yes, IKEA. Well, on the one hand, they present a buyback service, yeah, which is good. But on the back door, they were accused of illegal logging. That means illegally harvesting wood, timber, in order to create the products, right? So they violating the country's laws, the law of the country where they harvest the wood. Yeah. So they did a poor job there. H&M, I already discussed. Insincere sustainable fashion claims. Ryanair, false low emission claims. Yeah, you can also think of Unilever, unclear environmental claims. Many times, companies are tempted to leave the impression that they care about the environment. But when you carefully look at what they actually do, it is opposed to what they are preaching. Okay, let me continue. I have been talking about greenwashing, which is a persistent problem. It's hard to get rid of that. Another problem is the rebound effect. The rebound effect is about, well, the reduction in expected gains. So if you implement a certain, well, a green measure or a certain green product, there are some expected benefits, yes? You expect a gain. Greenwashing tells you there is a reduction. And that reduction in expected gains is due to customers' behavior. Yeah? Customers started to behave in a different way. And the result is diminished beneficial effects. I'll show an example. Okay, you can think of direct greenwashing. Think of using more efficient fuel. So you can use fuel that takes better care of environment by being 5% more efficient. Yes, 5% more efficient means you can use the same amount of fuel and drive a 5% longer distance. So there's an efficiency gain. But then there is the rebound effect. If the fuel is more efficient, the customer may decide to drive 5% longer distances. Yes? So in that way, the customer cancels out the 5% benefit, or may decide to drive 3% more. Then there still is some benefit, but it is reduced. That's called the direct rebound effect. Yes? There's also an indirect rebound effect. So if you use this 5% higher efficiency fuel, you save money. Yes? And if you do this on a yearly basis, you maybe save so much money that you can go on holiday in Spain using the airplane. And that's called an indirect rebound effect. Yes? So the problem all the time is saving on a certain resource like this more efficient fuel lead to other behavior and lead to all kinds of rebound effects, diminishing the expected benefits, which is a persistent problem. Well, so far I've been talking about how to delineate the circular economy in different levels, individual level, the organizational level, and also the organizational context. I've also discussed different spheres. The inner sphere, within the company, and the outer sphere, those who are outside the company, like the market and the customer. This is about service innovation, a product on service innovation. It's under revision in the Journal of Product Innovation Management. And here it's more about how to present circular economy as an innovation. Well, this is about Netflix. Hey, I see a different picture, but anyway, Netflix, yes. You can see this as an innovation. Then, well, this is the old situation. The old situation is if you want to see a movie at home, you go to the video store and you rent it, right? The old situation. Nowadays, you can stay at home. And you can simply subscribe to Netflix, yeah, to watch the same video. This is an example of a service innovation. Yes? So it used to be you had to go to the video store and rent the physical videotape. And now it's you stay at home and you just subscribe to Netflix or something else to watch the same video. Yes? Output-based. So the process is now more about the activity of watching via streaming versus actually renting this physical videotape. That also has led to changed experiences. Experiential here. So experience is about the customer's experience. How do you feel? How do you think about watching the video nowadays? Now it's just watching online versus going to the cinema and mingle among other people. So this changed experience. It also has disrupted the systemic innovation. It used to be like if you go to the video store or to the cinema, yes, you could also go to the cinema, then there's a whole infrastructure around it. So there's not only the cinema, there is shops, there is restaurants and bars surrounding cinema, even hairdressers. That now has been disrupted. Yes? This infrastructure has issues now because people stay at home. They still buy stuff like popcorn, but they then go to the supermarket, right? So there's a different system. This is about Nornon, who's applying circular economy as a service innovation. I already said there's two ways. One is, here you go to, you have the workplace, think of the furniture as a service, a focus on furniture functionality as a service, and sometimes items had to be replaced because it's broken down or it is defect. And then one way is to take the refurbishing route. That's the quicker and the easier route. And then you transport refurbished items here and bring it back into this workplace. A more thorough way is the value regeneration and the waste recycling. That's all happening in this particular company. We try to map how it actually works based on the typology of output-based innovation, process-based innovation, experience-based innovation, and systemic innovation. So what we actually did, we interviewed a lot of important people, managers here, to ask about their experiences when it comes to recycling furniture. And we came up with a lot of results. I will show you and highlight a few of it. When it comes to the output, we found out that if you want to apply circular economy to a furniture company, you had to develop, you had to manufacture furniture styles that fit all clients. Say you have a portfolio of 500 different types of furniture. Circular economy makes things more complex. To create 500 loops for each particular type of furniture is not doable. So you had to be more selective in terms of what am I going to produce. And maybe I should focus on mainstream types of products, yes? So the product portfolio may have to be, you have to downsize product portfolio in terms of the number of products. And maybe there should be focus on those products that sell well. That's an important implication. Process. If you present the furniture as a service, like with this office space, it's more like the process. It's a continuing process of providing the right furniture at any time. And it's a matter of optimizing the flow. Yes? It's an ongoing process. And When it comes to experience, the focus is on the customer's perception. How does the customer feel emotionally about used furniture? Maybe there's quite a strong misconception that used furniture is maybe, not say worthless, but of less value. How to change that perception? How can customers still experience quite some value using furniture that has already been used or furniture that can be reused by someone else? Here, optimizing system size with stakeholders that think the same way. Here we're talking about the whole system. So if you want to change something when using circular economy, you're not on your own as a customer or as a company. You have to collaborate with suppliers who think alike. If that doesn't happen, it's not a viable option. But that makes it also quite difficult. So partnerships with other companies are very essential. And that brings me to a short summary. What we actually found out is the best way to make use of circular economy principles is to simply start up a new company. Which actually happened with IKEA and Nornorm. Nornorm is a sort of daughter company of IKEA, but it's an independent company. And if you are a standalone company, and if you use and incorporate circular economy principles at the start, at the foundation of your company, you can be more flexible. That's one thing. And smaller companies, by nature, are more flexible and less complex. The second thing is building circularity into rather than making it the core of your value proposition. A value proposition means you offer something, a bundle of assets, incorporating the cost to the customer, the value proposition. Customer will buy it from you, is willing to pay for it. Keep in mind, value propositions have to do with economic value. Companies are economic entities. The first and foremost purpose is to make money. So circular economy can never be core. It's rather incorporating it into your value proposition. It's something extra. Companies that start using circular economy should see themselves as asset management. Yes? Asset management means you keep a focus on economically using your resources. Yes? That's a very important conclusion we draw, and it should go to a long-term asset management model due to reuse, recycle, yes, prolonged product life. And that requires a different process and also a different vision. I already said that if you want to make your company circular, you may have to make painful choices by offering less products. That may conflict with customers' demands. Customers want to have lots of choice. Yes? You want to have that unique type of fragrance. But, well, circular economy tells us that that's not possible anymore because circular economy makes things complex. That means you have to compensate somewhere else by making things maybe less complex, by offering less products. And that might make value and experience, how customers experience products, a challenge. Supplier integration, I already said that. Circular economy is about a system. You can't do this on your own as a company. You have to collaborate with those who are like-minded. That's an important outcome of this research as well. integration with suppliers to make adequate use of options for reutilizing materials in new products after several consecutive use cycles. And with that, I have told you a bit about this second project, and I hope you found it insightful. And if there are any questions, let me know.